Hello and welcome back to the Trainerize YouTube channel. Now, as you all know, sales is a massive part of any fitness business. Today, we're joined by 3 experts who are all pros when it comes to coaching for personal trainers in business and sales especially. So with the help of these experts, we're gonna learn what it takes to up your sales game and get some practical tips. For people who are basically starting out, or maybe they've been a personal trainer for a long time, but they're just having a hard time with the whole process of selling and really scaling up their business, or maybe they're a gym or a studio who are ready to ramp up after, everything we've just gone through. What would you guys each suggest is step 1 for that person to really start improving their sales skills? I know we've talked about a couple different things, like creating a system, creating a framework to work in, but what is a tangible step that they could take tomorrow after they get off this call and kind of implement it in their lives? Jono, would you like to kick that one off?
Yes, I would love to. In my opinion, it's essentially mindset. I'd love to get the guy's opinion on this as well. I feel you can give people the perfect sales script, how to handle every objection. If they don't believe in themselves and they don't believe that their product is going to solve it, you're gone, right? But go the other way. Let's say you genuinely believe in your product. You love your product. You've got no doubt in your mind that your product is awesome and it's worth 10 times the small investment money or time investment someone's going to pay for you. Your program's going to give them 10 times return. Even if you have no sales skills, you're going to fluke a few just with passion and just with whatever it is it may be. So my tip there, and I know mindset can be so blurry. What does that even mean? But I'll give a couple general tips, then one more specific one. There's the usual stuff, go and watch a Tony Robbins video, or read The Secret or whatever it may be. There's an 8-hour Tony Robbins video on YouTube if anyone's interested. So that's a good start anyway. But one thing that really helped me, because this was a problem for me starting with, I was like, oh, are people really going to pay that, and I was actually selling a boot camp to start with. I was running a face-to-face physical boot camp, and I could never sell the $50 a week option, and looking back, it was a mindset thing. I, knew all the sales thing. It's just, I didn't believe that it was worth $50 a week for whatever it was, right? But a way that helped me solve that is I actually signed up to another boot camp or a strength and conditioning program, because my health and fitness was failing. I was running a boot camp and I was out of breath demonstrating the exercises. I was like, man, I've got to do something, So signed up to another boot camp sort of thing, which was $50 a week. But even a bit more than that, because I had to I was doing a bit of personal training as well, had to clear my schedule a couple nights a week. So it ended up, not only was I now paying $50 for that, I was down a couple $100 a week on my income. But as a result of that, my sales got so much better. That the money that I missed out on with those personal training, I made more than that back because I made more bootcamp sales just because I believed it. Because if someone was like, oh, $50 a week, it's a lot of money, right? I'd be like, well, it depends how you look at it. I'm a trainer and I pay $50 a week. And you know what? It's the best $50 I spend because I'm fitter, I'm healthier, I'm happier, I sleep better, I stress less, I have more energy, all these benefits here. It's amazing. And then the person will be like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to sign up. And it wasn't necessarily I could have, that's just a sales script. Anyone could say that. But because I actually believed it, it helped. And I'm not saying, if you're listening to this, that can be a way to do it. If you're selling online personal training, you're struggling to sell, hey, go and get some online personal training yourself. And that might help there because it's apples to apples. But even if it's not, maybe it's investing in your business, investing in your education. The message can still come across, hey, if you really want something, you got to invest in it. Here's what I'm investing myself. But if you're not investing anything yourself, not saying you can't, but if you've got that mindset issue, it's a bit harder.
I'd like to go next actually. And I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about my journey getting into sales and a lot of the people that we mentor and coach. And when I see the big shift where they really start getting good at sales is when they embrace it. Okay. Because a lot of coaches shy away from it, especially at the beginning. And I know this was true for me, where we avoided it. We talked about this earlier at the start, we avoided those situations. And as soon as you start embracing sales and really accepting that you cannot build a successful business without selling yourself in some shape or form, that's when things are actually going to change for you. You have to almost accept that you need to be good at sales, or at least better than most people are right now if they want to generate more clients and generate more revenue, right? And I think everyone just needs to appreciate that selling is part of life. but you fundamentally got to accept that it's part of the process of building a business. And if you're not prepared to accept that, then you might as well just work for someone that's going to provide you with the clients, or work for someone else who already has the clients if you can't get over that and embrace it, because that is fundamental to building a business. You've got to be marketing, you've got to be selling, you've got to be delivering, you've got to be wearing all those hats. As soon as you embrace those, that's when things start to change. And I think sales is the toughest one for everyone to embrace. But do that, and that's when things will start to change. That's what I'd be focusing on, the mindset around embracing it.
And just one mindset thing I've also seen with trainers is the difference between calling yourself a personal trainer and calling yourself a fitness business owner. It's subtle, but if you're referring to yourself just as a personal trainer, I feel you're almost neglecting that stuff, as Alex said, and sort of being like, oh, I'm a personal trainer, I'm just a good trainer, right? But if you make that sort of switch and say, I'm a fitness business owner, all of a sudden, well, you're a business. And as Alex said, if you don't like the business stuff, why have you got a business? Just go and work for someone else. Yeah.
Absolutely. Andrew, did you have anything to add to those?
You have to have the courage as well. Like, courage is a massive one. It's like you don't lose weight by sitting on the couch and thinking about it. You got to get your ass up, get off the couch and go and do the work. And it's the same for sales as well. It's going to be uncomfortable. Step into it, embrace it, have the courage. And then someone says yes. And you're like, whoa, someone just said yes. And then someone else says yes and someone else does. And before you know it, now you have a belief. You don't create a belief by sitting on the couch and doing nothing. The second one is clarity. Like, if you're trying to, grow a business and, really turn it into something, you've got to know what direction that you actually want to go. So if you don't know where you're going right now, if you don't know where you're going to be in 12 months, then don't expect to be any different than where you are right now. And then the final piece is ultimately having the conviction, which would be, spending money with a mentor or finding some sort of way to step in and have somebody hold your hand and show you the pathway. Because, if you're not going to do those things, then, it's no wonder like 96% of businesses are gone within 10 years. Like, you have to be able to step in and do it. But I think those three components will help anybody, whether you're a personal trainer, an online coach, somebody starting today, or even if you're, the types of businesses we generally work with, you have the locations and you're doing $250,000, $500,000, and you want to be doing, a few million bucks or more. Those three steps, they never change, right? So it doesn't matter where you are, you just got to step in and embrace it. And that's what will get anyone to the next level, whether it is, business or life.
That's a great point. Like, as an entrepreneur, it can be a very isolating experience, but you have to know that you can lean on other people and you can bring people into your network. And if you're a personal trainer, it only makes sense that you need somebody to hold you accountable, and you got to practice what you preach. So that's definitely a great point. On to the next question. So should coaches be focusing more on inbound or outbound kind of sales strategy? And by inbound, I obviously mean kind of like perhaps putting yourself out there by doing a podcast and having people find you that way. And outbound is more the traditional, like calling people, sliding in people's DMs, like following up. What mix of those two different things do you guys suggest people are kind of focusing on? Anyone can kick that one off.
Yeah, awesome. So I'll dive in here. In terms of like what we do with our clients and what we've done in our business to build it to multi-million-dollar levels is we use something called the PBM method. So this is something that we've developed that works so well. And we actually give this to our clients. So I'll explain how it works for anyone listening. And PBM stands for permission-based marketing. Okay, so maybe Jono's got a variation of this. Maybe Andrew has as well in some form, shape or another, because these guys has been in the industry for a long time. But essentially what we do is we ask the audience exactly what they want, right? So we build this audience organically or with Facebook ads, we fill it up, right? We fill people's groups up, we fill people's audiences up. And then we ask the audience actually what they want. What do they want in terms of value before we create anything? Mm-hmm. And when we get enough interest, we then go ahead and create that content specifically for the audience. So permission-based marketing is getting permission in terms of what people want, go and produce it, go and deliver it to them, strike up conversations. They're going to be super hot and then enroll them into your coaching programs. And that's what we do. No cold DMs, no adding random people and just sliding in and making offers. That stuff's dead. Like Andrew said, you could do that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but now you've got to spend a little bit more time actually like courting people, you know, building a relationship, not just going straight for marriage. You've got to spend a little bit of time building up to what you really want. And that's why we do it, and works really well for our clients.
Love that. I tried to Google a synonym for the word piggyback while you guys were doing that, but I couldn't find one. It's got like fetch and bring and ferry. So I'm just going to piggyback off what Alex says. Yeah, I love that system. We use something similar as well at Fitness Education Online. And one of the other benefits is the time saving, because I learned that one the hard way. You know, I went and created a program and thought, this is awesome. This is exactly what people want. And I'd put it out there and crickets. And I was like, man, how can I get around this, you know? So I was like, all right, cool. Before I put something together, let me make a Facebook post. Even just that simple, you know? Hey, people, I'm thinking of putting together a program in this. Is this something you'd be interested in? Now, if I get hardly any comments there, I'm not going to even start it, because there's not even interest from a Facebook post. If I get a whole heap of interest, okay, there's still no guarantee, right? Just because you get a whole heap of comments doesn't mean people are going to buy a thing, but it's at least putting it in the right direction. And then essentially you just sell that same thing back to that same people, you know, because say you spoke to 10 people like that. Okay, great. You're going to get some really, really good market research of what your people want. And then ideally you're going to sell that thing back to those same people anyway, you know? So I just wanted to piggyback off Alex there.
Yeah, I think you guys bring something that's really underrated to the table, and it's just that user research. Like in tech, it's all about like user-centric design. And it's the process of going and having those conversations before building the thing, giving it to people, getting their feedback, iterating, and then just doing that again and again and again until you have the perfect product that just is a home run for the most of your target market.
I think let me just jump in on that. I think the hard thing for the new coach, be it a business coach or a personal trainer or somebody in that industry, is in some aspects you are the expert. You have to be the expert to the client, but you also have to drop your ego and actually pay attention and listen. And if you can't drop your ego, if you know everything, then you get nowhere, right? And I just, I signed a client up again for another 12 months yesterday. And the conversation I had is like, be transparent, let me into your world, and we'll blow this thing up. If you sit behind your guard and put your guard up and don't pay attention and don't listen, it's never going to work. So for anybody out there who's new, yes, you have to be the expert to the, or not even if you're new, but if you're not getting the results that you want, like just shut the hell up and listen, because unless you actually do that, you will never be able to solve the people's problems. You'll be in your head thinking about what you want to do because it makes you feel great, instead of actually going, if I can solve this problem for Julie, what would that do? Because if I can solve it for Julie, there's probably another 50 Julies around. And if I can absolutely solve it better than anyone else on the planet, then your business is just going to blow up, but you've got to get past your ego.
Also, if you're new to training online, you can start your free 30-day trial of Trainerize by clicking on the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.